He's so weird. What are you doing up there? Hey farm fam, welcome back to my channel. For those of you that are new, welcome and welcome to today's video. So today's video is all about summer and our routine with our horses. And a lot of the times when maybe we think summer, we think of blazing hot heat, which we definitely are always thinking of that in Florida, but particularly what summertime means to us Floridians is rainy season. So what technically changes in the summer here in Florida is not necessarily the heat, because it's always hot year round besides in the winter months, but in general we're known as the sunshine state, which I think is kind of ironic because of how much rain we actually get. I feel like we're a hub for hurricanes. So all of those put together, we are in hurricane rainy season. And for us at least, and if you're local to the southern states and you guys get a lot of rain during the summertime, or you even have a rainy season, here's my guide, some tips that you might find of how we change our barn routine for our horses during the summer, because we start to have to use different products, do different routines, different things like that during the summer. So without further ado, if you guys are excited for today's video, if you guys are excited to learn something, make sure you go and give this video a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel down below. Make sure you turn those post notifications so you don't miss any of these videos. And of course, have a chance to my post notification shout out. All right, you guys, let's get right into this video. So we've already started a bit here with our first thing that we like to do. So I have Cash out of his stall. I think he's up here. She's messing with stuff. But one of my biggest tips in our barn and our horse routine, which doesn't necessarily change throughout the year because we always pretty much need this, but particularly for us in our barn in the summer, is the shaving. So we buy the Queen brand Easy Sift shavings. You guys have seen these on my channel a ton of times if you've been watching for a while, in the way that we clean our stalls. But one of our biggest things in the summertime is our stall management because of bugs. So with rain comes sitting water, which we'll get to, but then also comes bugs. So we need to make sure that our barn is in tip-top shape throughout the rainy season so that we can eliminate the possibility of bugs. So first thing is making sure that our stalls are always clean, like very, very clean. Some days we can leave like a little bit of urine in them just to let it dry out. But during the summer, we are really getting all of that out, and we are increasing our shavings. So we aren't letting them sit in there for a while to dry out, like I said, because even so, that can create more bugs around this time of the year, and the mosquitoes will literally pick you up and take you away if you're out here for too long, which we'll get into more of that in a bit. So we got some more shavings. So like I said, we're going through shavings a lot more. Not the most financial thing in the world, but for the sake of our barn, the sake of our horses, and keeping their skin at bay, we need to make sure that when they're in the barn, they're not just getting eaten alive by mosquitoes and other bugs. So we've cleaned out some of our stalls almost completely, just the ones that urinate a little bit more. I don't want any of that old shavings left in there. And then particularly in this stall, this is Louise. He has some shavings that are salvageable, so we're gonna go ahead and leave that in there, and we're just gonna add additional shavings to that stall. Cash is being very special right now, showing us his tricks. He's acting like a goat. I actually think he was literally watching the goats do this and decided that he was gonna do it himself, but his head was literally peeking through the Trigger's stall. He's so weird. What are you doing up there? Another view, if you weren't tall enough already. All right, I don't see the point of this, but anyways, let's get back to the scheduled programming. I've been talking about a lot of like bug care, and I'll touch on that in a little bit as well during this video. More bug care, because bugs just run rampant when it comes to horses and barns, because obviously a lot of horse manure and stuff like that, and then the standing water. Even on the day that I'm filming this, it's so dark out, as you guys can see. We are in the middle of a really big thunderstorm right now. It's been nonstop raining for hours now. So even that standing water is a breeding ground for, again, more eggs being laid, that stagnant water sitting there. And then when it comes morning time and the sun is out, it just is so hot, and those bugs are just having a great time. So doing these things during the summer are really important, more than they are during the rest of the time of the year. That's why we put emphasis on this, and why I'm actually making a whole dedicated video of what makes summer easier for us around here and how to manage these things. But still going back to their stalls, like I said, we like to make sure that they are clean because of the growth of bugs. But then secondly, it's really important that they have a dry area to go to. So obviously You guys just saw that my pastures are flooded, so it's really important that when I do bring them in the barn, I give them some relief from that water just soaking on their legs and their feet. And it's super important because the soles of their feet can get super soft. Making sure the health of their hoof is also really important during this time of the year. So these are some of my favorite products for the summer, and it's about to look like a lot, but it's all really worth it because the summer and the wetness and the bugs can really take a toll on your horse's health, especially here in Florida. So life hack, barn hack, if you don't have mouthwash, Listerine, off-brand, get it at the dollar store. Go ahead and get this. It's like the best one I think is like the brown version of this, but we always have mouthwash in our barn. Sorry for all the noise. This is really good for rain rot. We put it in a spray bottle. If your horse has rain rot coming in, if it's just starting, you can put this on them. And then especially as well, it doubles up as a fly repellent, which is great because the rain rot is already itchy for them anyways, and you don't want any added flies onto the rain rot. If you're not familiar with these terms that I'm using, like rain rot, also referred to as like rain scald, I'm gonna leave the Google definition right here because it can explain it a lot better. But basically what it does, it's like a skin infection on their skin, obviously. The most common places that I've seen it in experience with my horses are their legs, and I'll show you because June has a little bit right now. Their butt, so the big cushy part, top of their butt will get it. Those are the most parts, at least, that I've seen in my horses that I've treated. So as you can see right here, so I'm able to pick it off. So this is what is referred to as rain rot. So usually you take a curry and you would brush it off. So as I'm just showing you, like this. Now you have to be careful because this can be pretty painful for them, but it is helpful to get it off. So it's a little gunky too right now because she's outside, and obviously from us putting the mud shield on it. So anyways, I have here a solution of watered down mouthwash, and I'm just gonna spray it on here to help just start to cure this rain rot here. And you just want to make sure that you're really consistent with applying this every day. I'm going to pop up the definition for thrush on the screen now because we're going to talk about a bunch of products for thrush. So thrush has to do with the soles of their hooves. So straight from Tractor Supply, you can get something called Thrush Buster. I typically have never really used this, honestly. Actually, maybe I have once or twice, but I am really all for like home remedies and things like that and trying other things. But Thrush Buster, and then two that have always been really important in my barn, even when I boarded my horses when we didn't have our own barn, were Durasol and also Copper Tox. This waterproof, so you just put it on there so that the actual water in your ground can't really penetrate the hoofs. So this actually says that it's indicated in treatment of thrush in horses. So again, if your horse has thrush, you don't want to add to that moisture level into their hoofs. So this is going to act as a waterproofer. And then right here for the Durasol, straight again from what it says on the back, it's an antibacterial, antifungal, which is what we need when you're treating thrush, or even just making sure none of the bacteria in the water is creating any type of infections or anything like that in the soles of their hoof. I always find it easier to put it in a spray bottle, spray the underneath of the hoof, always a lot easier doing it this way. So I'm down here with Cash because he's gonna be our test subject for tonight because he's on night turnout, so he is gonna have to go out into the pasture. So I always just like look over and make sure that they don't have anything like crazy on him. He actually has like a huge mosquito on his face, my goodness. So with his feet, like I told you, we are using that Durasol product, and basically it's gonna act as a barrier in between his sensitive sole and the wet environment out there. So you want to make sure that their hoof is really clean before you do this. Obviously he has some shavings in there and his hoof is really looking good because of what we've been doing, but still the frog is like a little bit softer than it would normally be, let's say in the winter, but nothing crazy. So we're just making sure that we get it completely nice and cleaned out and dry. Then we're going to take our Durasol, and you want to only put it here on the frog and the sole. So I'm going to try to hold that up as long as I can here so it can dry. So like the instructions say, you can actually use it dropwise and use a brush to spread it. This is the best way that I like to use it because I don't have to get my hands on it or anything like that. The last product that I have that I've been using and I'm literally almost out of, it's called Mud Shield Powder. So this is almost like the step before you get that rain scald or rain rot on the horse's legs. So this literally is just like baby powder. I'm not sure if the same active ingredients. I haven't honestly compared it, but it has the same type of nozzle as baby powder. And it's a waterproofer, so you just put it on their leg and it basically waterproofs it against mud and water. So this one we've been using like crazy, so I'm actually almost out. So we'll finish it off tonight, but this definitely is necessary. We've been putting this on morning and night, whichever horses are on turnout. All my other horses, we started them on this early, and then June was the only one, she was out more when it was raining out, that didn't get this on her legs in time, and she's the only one that we have with rain rot right now. So we're also treating, but also preventing still. So after the Duracell is applied, then I'm gonna use my Mud Shield powder. Like I said, this is like baby powder. I have not tested the ingredients, if they're the same or not, but maybe that's a life hack. I don't know, you could look into it. So when you're working with your horse's legs, make sure that you're not doing anything in front of them, because if they decide to pick this up, they can easily knock you out. So I always like to work from the side of them. So I'm just opening up my Mud Shield powder. I think I might have just closed it. And it literally applies just like baby powder. It looks like baby powder. And then I rub it in to make sure that all the way up to here is covered, because it gets pretty deep out there. And again, this is another form of just waterproofing and making sure that he doesn't get rain rot. As you can see, right here is where I typically see if they start to get rain rot. You can see none of that is on here. You guys have seen how wet our pastures are, and his hoofs and his legs still look really good because of our changing routine during the summer. With horses, what works sometimes isn't always gonna work on other times, so it's always important to adjust your routine like how we have to do in the summer. So now we'll just do the same thing that we did to that one hoof and leg to the rest of his legs. Another piece of the stall is the water bucket management. So during the winter, sometimes we don't always need to dump their buckets because they don't get super dirty. Besides Trigger, he's just really particular. He likes his bucket to be dumped and refreshed every day, or he just won't drink water. But as far as my other horses go, they're really not that picky when it comes to their water. So during like the winter, when there's really hardly any flies or mosquitoes or anything like that, we can go a couple days before their buckets actually get really dirty, and then we actually need to dump them. But in the summer, it's really important that we are dumping their buckets every single day and refilling them, because especially here in Florida, it doesn't take long for mosquitoes to start to lay their eggs in that sitting water, and we just want to make sure that that's not happening, obviously for two reasons. One, I don't want my horses to ingest anything like that, and two, that's perfect breeding grounds for more mosquitoes in my stall. So I just make sure that we are constantly, every day, dumping out the water buckets and refilling them with fresh water for the horse's sake, in their own water intake, and then also in their environment. So this applies for stall management still, and also, again, care for the actual horse. I feel like a lot of these tips and tricks go hand in hand because it's just their overall living environment. So it is fly spray. Fly control, mosquito control is so vital and so important because, of course, another skin condition called sweet itch. I'll leave the definition up for you right there. So Trigger actually gets sweet itch almost every year. He doesn't get it as much as he used to in the past. So we've tried so many different things for this, different supplements, and then I decided to see how he would do this year. But next year, I'm definitely going to be getting him a whole fly sheet that will go over his whole body. That's the only thing we haven't tried yet. But besides that, that is something that is definitely added into a lot of horse owners' routines when it comes to summer, is adding that fly sheet. I see a ton of horses that basically live in their fly sheet because of how bad their skin can get from the mosquitoes and the flies. So fly and mosquito bug repellent is so huge. So I have 3 different kinds. I even have more in my TACK room, but these are like the main ones that I use as far as treatments go. And then as a general like tool to use would be a fly mask. So I'm not gonna put this on them tonight. I don't typically like to put them on at night, but if it's really bad, sometimes I will put a fly mask on, but I'll show you how that works. But definitely during the day, it's a must that the horses wear their fly masks. So I want to show you anyways though how to use a fly mask, because obviously it's nighttime, but as I said, we use these during the daytime. And these are really important during the summer. So I'm even using my horse that's the most skittish because it just shows how easy it is to put on a fly mask. I shouldn't say easy, but I like using these fly masks. They are a really stretchy, breathable material. There's other ones that actually have like Velcros, a bunch of different options for these, but these are just the ones that I like. I find them a little bit harder for my horses to get off. We had an issue where Cash was literally pulling the Velcro off of the other horses and getting their fly mask off, and obviously if the fly mask isn't on, it's not doing anything. So here's the face. I like to get mine with the ears because I also don't want any of the bugs getting into their ears. And you want to make sure that it's a good fit because if the bugs can just go through it, there's no point, they'll be trapped in there. So with the face like this, you just hold it here. Here we go. And even on my most skittish horse, you just go like this, around here, the forelock in there, boom, one ear. Let's see if we can find my second ear. And there it is. Easy does it. My mask is on. So as you can see, this, I know it's a misconception, they can fully see out of this. This is mesh. It just makes sure that no bugs can get in there, but still gives them good clear view. Same with their ears, and it's breathable because it's mesh. This fabric, it's super cooling and lightweight. It's a good fit for him. So it looks good and it feels good. And then you just take them off like this, and that's it. Super easy. But these are the 3 products, all do the same thing, all in different forms. So we have our liquid fly repellent, and this we're gonna directly put on their skin. And also, again, treating that stall, so stall management. I literally cover my stalls in this because, again, it's a breeding ground in there. There's manure on the ground. If they urinate, there's that on the ground. It is a great home for mosquitoes and bugs and flies. So this is the deterrent. So I'm in the stall, we're again with our test subject here, and I like to use my squirt bottle first, and I like to spray out the whole stall with this because I'm already getting eaten alive by the mosquitoes. So I put it on the fast sprayer, and I just can stay away from all the corners, but the corners are where they most likely like to live. And I just spray it in here. So when I'm doing the stall like this, I mostly use like a Listerine mixture just because it's not as harsh with the smell. So I just like to spray the whole stall. Then we have SWAT Fly Repellent as well. This is basically in paste form. So this would be around the more sensitive areas, their face, under their belly, things like that. I'm not gonna go ahead and spray my horse with this on their face. I also have Fly Repellent wipes, which work really well for that. And then the last one is the roll-on Fly Repel. And I really like using this, same exact concept as the SWAT. It's in roll-on, hard to reach places like their faces if you don't like getting your hands dirty with the actual SWAT paste. So now I'm gonna adjust my sprayer though, so it's not like full force, so I can get a wider spread, and I'm going to fly spray him. This is an absolute must. Your horse will get eaten alive. So I do a really thorough job. I know others have different tactics. This is just what I like to do. I think it's really important to do an adequate amount of fly spray. Now that we have the actual fly spray done, I'll show you what both options of a paste roll-on type of situation here. And this is for the more sensitive areas. So this is my SWAT. It really is like a paste. We'll put this in these spots. So this is the clear version. I think there's also like a pink version so you can really see where it goes. So this I like to do all right here, down the bridge of their nose, and then really important around their eyes so that no bugs get them. They can easily get summer sores by the bacteria getting right in there in their tear ducts, so just keeping the flies away is really important. So on this side, I just did the SWAT like I showed you. Now to demonstrate the roll-on, I'm gonna do that on the other side. I think the roll-on is really handy. As you can see it, I just did an M right there so you guys could see, but you can really just roll it on. It gets a really good amount. Am I scaring you? So I really like using that. And then also, I just, for some reason, like to go down their chest and then down their belly, because obviously with the standing water, the bugs are gonna just love their belly. So I just make sure that their belly gets nice and coated. So now that we've gone through pretty much everything, now this doesn't include obviously the normal basic care that we continue to do every day. These are just the additional steps that we have to take during the summertime because of the additional nuisances like rain, standing water, extra mosquitoes, things like that. It's really important to protect them from all of those conditions. The water and the rain, it's crazy how much of an impact it actually has on their skin and their coat and their hoofs. So it's really important that you make sure that all of those bases are covered. So it goes without saying that fans are super important, and obviously to get rid of like heat in the barn. But a main thing for us in the rainy season, where it won't even be like hot in the barn, it's just all the bugs and mosquitoes. Make sure that your fans are up to par. During the summertime, we are cleaning our fans out a lot more, obviously to make sure that there's no dust on them so that they're actually feeling adequate amount of air, but also so that we know that there's movement happening in those fans, because the more movement, the more it kind of just swirls up the stall and they won't have like standing flies and mosquitoes. It just keeps things moving. So we are always making sure that we are cleaning our stall fans, so that's really important. So this is one of our fans, and as you can see, it's really not that dusty because we do, like I said, we focus on cleaning these a lot more, but you can even see right there, the dust. So Mike is gonna do the honors here for us, and we like to use a broom first rather than going in with the leaf blower, because then see that dust just came at us, a lot of the dust will just go crazy. So we always try to do this method first, and if you're keeping up with it, this method will be just fine. The blower though does a really good job and we'll get it pretty much completely clear. So as Mike says, the most important part basically to clean is the back side. So you want to make sure that all that dust is off the back. So we can see the blades nice and good, and now it's time to turn it on. And it is such a cool breeze. So as you can see, it's literally blowing my hair. It was not doing this before we cleaned it, so it's super important to make sure that your fans are always clean. I don't even know if you guys can hear me because of the wind sounds, I'm sure. Those are my little summer routine hacks, additional things that we have to do when it comes to our horses in the summer and the changes in our routine. So I don't want to say hopefully, but if this does happen to you, if you guys are in a climate like mine, if you guys live in Florida, hopefully these are some things that you can use to help you maybe adjust your routine a little bit. Implement some of these things if you need to. If you're a beginner and don't know the different things that have to change during the summer, if you're in a climate like us, or if you guys have a different time of year that it gets really rainy and your horse would be in standing water, I definitely advise doing a lot of research on the different effects of different seasons. So just keeping that in mind for your horses to make sure that they're comfortable year round. So if you guys liked today's video, if you guys found it helpful, make sure to go and give this video a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel down below. Make sure you turn those post notifications so you don't miss any of these videos, and of course, have a chance for my post notification shout out. Today's shout out goes to, all you guys. We love you, and we'll see you in the next one.